Like Garfield ever since I first run into him.
Oh, he's a lot like me. He's fat, he's sarcastic, he's lazy, he loves to eat.
To Garfield, in honor of your 25th birthday bash. Muncie is proud to be your hometown, and we thank you for your valuable contributions to our community. This key unlocks every Italian restaurant in Muncie, Indiana.
I never imagined working on this scale ever. I was hoping to be in 200 or 300 papers, and that would have afforded me a decent living. If Garfield were in 300 papers and there wasn't a product on the market, I'd be happy as a clam today.
23 years ago, back in 1981, Jim incorporated the company Paws Incorporated, and I was lucky enough to be one of the first 5 people that began this great adventure.
One of the first things we realized about Garfield was that he was so opinionated. People wanted to have products with his sayings on them, and silly things like, I'd like mornings better if they started later. I hate Mondays. Because as it turns out, people really didn't have the courage to say that themselves, but they would wear a t-shirt, a nightshirt, or have a coffee mug with Garfield saying it because that's what they felt. And so I realized, whoa.
The very first product that we did was an extension of the comic strip. Ballantine Books, who is still a licensee, began with the very first Garfield compilation book, Garfield at Large. Any kind of comic books had been done in a digest size book. But the comic strip read left to right, it didn't read up and down. So Jim personally mocked up the very first Ballantine book and had it be a horizontal format. Well, it just turned the industry on its head because racks didn't hold horizontal books like that.
And I got a call on the road that Garfield had hit the New York Times bestseller list. It seems that publicity breeds publicity. Because of the book tour, we sold more papers, and more papers, more readers. More readers we had, the more books we sold. The bestsellers started feeding themselves, and then the media started feeding itself. When I get into People magazine, then you're going to be on Time magazine.
The comic strip is always the basis of everything we do, and we want to make sure that the products reflect that same personality and humor.
He could be entertaining on a poster, further entertaining on a greeting card, even more entertaining as a book. Why, then we would do it, because it was another way to express ourselves and to make people laugh. So we really worked hard at it.
Licensing was an $8 billion industry. It's now like a $120 billion industry.
When we first started doing the licensing, we had to start doing some art. And Garfield was growing so quickly that the logistics of growing with his program was taking as much or more time than actually doing the comic strip, doing the creative part.
We had submitted a concept that we thought, what if you had Garfield and he had Velcro on his feet and he clung to your couch? That would make a great household item. It would look like your cat was laying on the couch or clinging to the couch. What came back from the Orient for approval was this cat with suction cups on the feet. What do you think? He said, well, let's do this. Let's stick it to your window, and if it's still stuck there in a couple of days, it means it's a good product. It's got great suction cups, looks great. We'll give this a try.
We did a test on Garfield's first plush doll about 1980. And made 10,000 of them in the Orient, brought them over on a boat and distributed them into the Bay Area, San Francisco. And 48 hours later then did a shelf count to see, check on the traffic of how well the dolls sold. So, and there wasn't a doll left in the city. And we go, cool.
We had no idea that they would put this in their cars. And all of a sudden there were these news reports of people breaking into cars in California and stealing the Stuck-on-You dolls, but they were leaving stereos. Ended up the same phenomenon all over the world. We started getting reports from Germany that the same thing was happening. Jim simply did a comic strip, and consumers demanded the product.
That really ushered in the Garfield era, A lot of papers signed Garfield up then, and a lot of books sold then. So it was a great way to get Garfield, in front of people.
In licensing, you have to be very careful that you don't fulfill demand. That's not a good thing, and we did with that doll. We were able to arrest that, and that people had enough of that particular category.
That then got the interest of Hollywood. We had an opportunity at that point in time then to do a primetime special. With animation, Garfield got to move, actually talk. That was a challenge because everybody hears a different voice when they read a comic strip. A lot of times their own voice.
Polka?
So I had to pick that voice that most people heard, plus the best interpretation of the humor.
But at least I won't get a ticket.
I never worked with Garfield actually moving. I always freeze frame him in the comic strip. So to actually, what does a walk cycle look like? And so we had to go through several of them. For the first special, I did some 900 layout drawings for different positions. I could stop him in a piece of action. I could get his expression right. It's the in-betweening that they really had to work with. CBS at that time then was interested in doing some Saturday morning. Everything was so busy I didn't have time to write Saturday morning. I wrote all the primetime specials. CBS gave us a lot of latitude as long as we didn't have to have a moral to the story. We just wanted to make people laugh, period. We had a 40% adult audience on Saturday morning. Garfield was the show.
I was expecting the upper crust.
Looks like you got the crumbs.
I remember James Earl Jones walking by one day as we were recording, so I ran out and asked him if he could do a voice. And he said, "Let me confer with my 10-year-old son, see you tomorrow." He came back the next day and he says, "My 10-year-old son told me to not only do a voice for Garfield, he said to do it for scale."
Paws Incorporated's roots really began as a creative house. He wanted to make sure that the art, the editorial, what Garfield, how he was appearing, what he was saying, was appropriate to the product and appropriate to that product's market. Hence, Paws Inc. was born.
We have 55 people, all vested with handling Garfield from animation to art to product to comic strips to everything. We like to think that when Garfield does humor, he really does make people laugh or smile or feel better at the very least. And our main motto here is, though, if we take care of the cat will take care of us.
Our Garfield licensing program covers just about every imaginable industry. So we have publishing, the Hallmark cards or posters or things that people like to put up on their doors. We have our apparel industry. We even have our own Garfield catalog that features all of the products in all the industries. We have housewares, mug warmers, teapots, cookie jars, telephones, a doorbell, a plush doorbell, bobbing head Garfields, plush dolls, collector plates, musicals, jewelry, shoes, socks, not the pantyhose, food items, of course, Garfield, food. I mean, duh, and of course, sleep. That's the other aspect. You know, when you talk about doing products that fit your character, eating and sleeping is a chip shot where it comes with Garfield.
And the work that we do for product for various licensees, it's custom made. It's lifted right from the strip, so it's the same artwork that you would find in the comic strip, and it's taken right from that and just applied to these products. In the case of Paws, everything that we do is built from the ground up for every client.
We have a staff of perhaps 20 creative people, actually artists and writers. And the most important product that we do is the comic strip that appears in the newspaper each day. Jim writes it, our team of artists take it through all of its various stages so that we are in the newspaper every day, entertaining over 250 million readers. We also have a very extensive three-dimensional studio here where we sculpt our own three-dimensional Garfields so that that figurines and plush and other types of product can be created here. We have to see it at 2 or 3 different stages to make sure that the Garfield character is consistent. His color, his personality, what he says, what he does needs to be very consistent on a worldwide basis in order to maintain the integrity of the character.
We don't worry about bottom line. We don't worry about production schedules. We worry about, is this good for the cat? Is it good for, you know, all the fans out there?
Truly want to thank all of you for taking the time to come and celebrate Garfield's 25th birthday this evening. In those 25 years, Garfield has literally touched the lives of millions of people all around the world. And to think it all began right here in Muncie, Indiana. It's something we can all be very proud of.
Thank you so much. This is a great place to be. Looking forward to the next 3 days. It's time to party, Garfield. Happy birthday.
What's it like for you to come out here to Muncie and be at Paws?
It's a dream. When Mr. Davis let me give him a hug, I thought I was going to pass out on the floor there.
You know, you don't often see people walking around with, you know, men in particular walking around with a Garfield earring and a Garfield on their head.
Well, I'm very sure of myself for one, and two, this is the new thing on page 12 in the catalog. It's the Garfield toupee.
Pretty much I melted down at the birthday bash yesterday. As soon as he drove up in the Corvette, I started bawling. And it took me 30 minutes to calm down. And then they called me up toward the podium, and then I started bawling all over again. So I'm very emotional about it.
I can't see Elvis meaning this much to anybody as Mr. Davis does to me.
Nicole used to, she tell me sometimes I am Hoddy, you know, and she's Garfield because she's still playing with me, you know, some funny things sometimes.
Why do you think he's been popular for 25 years? I mean, that's a long time.
Because he says what he means. When he says something, I mean, he goes along, he has a lot of fun in life, and he gives people a laugh, a good chuckle. I think that's what it's about. It's people having fun, and you can read Garfield and get a lot of fun out of it.
I don't know if it's his attitude or he's fresh. Jim has done over 300 and some thousand, and he's never forgotten one. He doesn't repeat them.
He's just a lovable cat.
I say because he says everything that everybody wants to say, but nobody wants to say it.
Sometimes it's fun to sit back, let him pass the threshold, like his 25th anniversary last year, like a movie, and then see what happens and weigh, you know, the opportunities. Love to see him on stage sometime. I still feel like I'm trying to get it right. My goal is to write that one gag that makes the whole world laugh. I don't know if it's possible because of different cultures, but boy, it'd be fun to try.